Hello, hello. You're listening to the Better Workday podcast with me, Niamh Moynihan. Have you started thinking about your goals for 2026 yet? If not, stay with me. In this episode, I'm going to show you why and how a little bit of work now can set you up for a really successful year ahead. So let's get into it. Okay, before I get started and share some of the steps in my goal ladder, I want to let you know that if you're listening to this episode on the day it's released, there are only 30 working days left in 2025. Can you believe that? And so between wrapping up the year and enjoying some of the festive season, it's going to be January before you know it. And with January often comes ideas for new goals at work and in our personal lives as well. New areas for us to develop, new things we want to achieve. And quite often they just kind of creep in and we're trying to decide what they are and do them at the exact same time. But I want to offer you an alternative. I want to give you the space now to think about 2026, to think about how you want to develop, how you want to grow, what you want to achieve, and start drafting, percolating, planning for the year ahead so that it feels a bit more intentional, a bit less rushed, and so that it fits more realistically into your existing workload and your existing life. So I have created something called the goal ladder, which is 10 steps to help us set better goals and then actually achieve them. Now, I'm not going to cover all of that in the podcast today because it'll be very long, but what I'll do is I'll put a link to the blog in the description so you can click on that if you want to kind of go through the full step-by-step process. But there are a few things in that goal ladder which I think are really, really important and I want to share with you today, while we still have a little bit of space left in 2025. And the first is to take a little bit of time to step back and discover all of the different potential areas you could develop or grow or start working on in 2026. Whether that's in your current role, whether that's for a role you are working towards, or maybe it's in your life overall. Because what usually happens is we don't look at our goals until either the 1st of January or the first week back in January or the next performance review or when a job opening comes up that catches the eye. But what would happen if without any of those pressures you just took stock now of what's working well for you in your working day, what are the bottlenecks, what's holding you up, where are you hoping to get to in the next 6-12 months, and what could you do, what could you focus on developing that would allow you to get there more easily, maybe quicker, and maybe with less stress. And so what we're doing now is we're looking at setting intentional, proactive goals, not the ones that are set in response to the TMAC, OKR, or the quarterly target, but things that, you identify as important to you. And so when your manager comes to you at whatever point and says, how would you like to develop or what would you like support in, you have some ideas of your own ready. Or maybe if your manager never comes to you, that you decide yourself what you're going to focus on in 2026. And I must point out at this stage that what usually follows is a lovely list of all the things we could do. And just after that, I want you to move swiftly on to writing your won't do list. This is the most important part of any goal setting and achievement process, and that is deciding what you're not going to work on. Because we can't work on all of the things at the same time all at once. It's just not going to happen. And so I've just finished my won't do list for 2026. Would you believe I have decided not to do some things in 2025 and 2026, and they're earmarked for 2027. What is that even about? But it's great because it's where you recognize that although it could be good for you, it won't be good for you right now, or it's not needed immediately. It's not needed in the short term. So take all of your ideas and decide which of them are great but can wait. And immediately then, I don't know about you, but I feel lighter because I'm not trying to take it all on. And what you're left with are goals that are going to make an impact to you over the next 12 months and probably beyond that because of what they will allow you to do. But they're meaningful, they're relevant, and they aren't just there for the sake of it. All right. And I always ask myself, what will doing this or learning this or improving at this allow me to do? So for example, This podcast is something which has been a goal of mine. Obviously, it's well underway at this stage. But by doing this podcast, it allows me to do way more than just record and publish episodes. It allows me to improve my speaking skills. It allows me to do research into new topics. It allows me to build my relationship with my clients and with those of you who I haven't worked with yet. And so there is so much more that happens as a result of the doing. And it's the same with the goals. When you're looking at what you want to work on in 2026, whether it's developing a technical skill that's specific to your job, or maybe a soft skill like decision making, negotiation, communication, whatever it is, or maybe it's improving your work-life balance and becoming better at setting boundaries. It's not even about the doing of the thing, it's what the doing of the thing will allow you to do or to experience or to achieve or to feel. So again, when we give ourselves a couple of weeks to jot down the goals, scribble out the ones that aren't for us right now, and then think about how achieving the ones that are left will impact our lives, I think it just ties you better to the goal. It makes you more committed at a personal level, and then you're more likely to follow through on it. Now, when it comes to follow through, this is where the real advantage kicks in, okay? Because you are going to set aside time now for 2026. So if I asked you to look at your calendar for this week or next week, I'd say it's unlikely you could find a couple of hours that haven't already been allocated to something. Okay, so it's either been allocated to a work thing or a personal thing or a meeting or something. But if you scroll along the digital calendar and end up in January, February 2026, I am hoping that there is quite a bit of white space. And so what you can do now, today, is block off time starting in January or February or whenever you decide you're going to start working with this goal to do the work. And it's great because you are holding the space and you are taking it when it's available. So you're not trying to squeeze it in. You're not trying to move other things around. You're giving yourself the advantage of forward planning. And now the other really good thing about this is that it reminds you that you don't need to start working on the goal now. So just because you decided what it is you want to achieve or improve or develop, it doesn't mean you have to get stuck in straight away. Okay? There's no need to get a head start. There's no need to get ahead. Instead, trust yourself that you have set time aside in the new year to work on it. And that's when the work is going to be done. And so that reduces that sense of kind of like panic or urgency that often accompanies the adrenaline of deciding to work on something new. Now, while you're at it, the other thing you could do at this time of the year is think about who you'll need help from, because none of us can complete our goals in isolation. Like you might need advice from somebody, help, guidance, information, just support, accountability. Like we always need some form of help from somebody. It could be your teammate, it could be your manager, it could be your partner, it could be a friend, whatever it is. And you know, I don't know about you, but I'm always conscious of adding to somebody else's plate. I mean, all of my friends and family are already very busy. They already have a lot on and, you know, I don't want to put more pressure on them. And, you know, I'm sure you're the same. So what's nice about this is you're giving somebody the heads up well in advance. You're saying, look, in January and for Q1 next year, I'm hoping to focus on this area. I'm wondering how you can help me. And you're giving them the chance to think about how they can help you and to offer a help in a way that's realistic for them. And so it's easier for you to ask for it because you're not being an immediate, you know, you're not putting immediate pressure on them. You're not taking their time this week or next week. And you're allowing them to think about how they can support you in the best way, which makes them more committed to it as well. So it's really, really nice. And so what you can see we're doing here is just taking the space, taking the time to think about what it is you want to achieve and how you can lay the foundation now without getting started, just laying the foundation now so that it's ready for 2026. Because I'm telling you what's not going to happen in 2026. The work isn't probably going to get quieter. The emails aren't going to stop coming. The meetings aren't going to, you know, disappear. Work isn't going to get less complicated. Life probably isn't going to get less complicated. So like anything we can do now to, you know, make things flow more smoothly, flow more easily is good. And isn't that a great gift to give to yourself? And, I've done this for the last, I think this will be my 4th year of doing my planning. By the way, I've already finished. I finished mine at the end of October, and then I kind of revisit it kind of start of November, but it's finished. But like, I've been doing this for the last few years, and I just then feel like I'm more able to focus on closing out the current year, and I'm not feeling like I'm going into the unknown. I'm not feeling like there's pressure, and it's just more steady. It's just more calm, and it's lovely. And so if you find that you're always rushing at the start of a new year, at the start of a new quarter, if you find that when you're asked to look at personal or professional development goals, that you're on the back foot, this is a really nice way for you to give yourself that gift of space and set yourself up for success. So if you want to kind of go through the full process, the goal ladder, as I call it, again, you can read through it on the blog. It is quite detailed. Now, there's plenty in there, and prompts and a few templates and stuff for you to look at. And again, I'll put the link in the description. But honestly, if you did nothing else except get a blank page and write draft goals at the top of it and start thinking about them now, you are doing yourself a favour. Now, if you found this helpful, what I'd love you to do is share it with a colleague, share it with a friend, so that they can also, set themselves up for a good 2026. Maybe even share it with your manager if you haven't started talking about, what the team is going to be focusing on next year yet, and give them a little nudge to see if you can get a bit of an insight there. That's always helpful. And again, I'd love to hear from you. So do connect with me on LinkedIn if you decide to set any 2026 goals as a result of listening to this episode, what they are, and what parts of this process you found helpful. And finally, if you are enjoying the podcast, I would love it if you could help me help more people create a better workday. And you can do that by leaving a rating or a review and sharing it, as I said, and of course subscribe yourself to make sure you never miss an episode. Okay, that's it from me. I am off to enjoy the rest of my day, and I hope you enjoy setting your goals for the year ahead. Until next time, stay well and have a better workday.